Welcome back. Another episode of Did You Know Weather Channel, talking about epilepsy, healthcare, somewhat reentry, only because I'm going to tie that. I tied that in the first video, but I'll tie it again at the end and why it's important for us to talk about healthcare and reentry. But back to seizures and back to epilepsy. Last video, we talked about simple, complex seizures. And the next one I want to go into are called tonic-clonic seizures. Now, tonic-clonic seizures were previously known, as I said before, grand mal seizures, or as most people think of as an epileptic fit. You know, it happens in two stages. The initial stage is called a tonic. The next stage is called clonic. The tonic stage is where you lose consciousness. You know, your body goes stiff, and the person may fall to the floor. The clonic stage, your limbs, you know, they stiffen and they jerk about. For me, what I was told, they usually happen in my sleep. It's usually about 7 a.m. in the morning. They always happen at the same time. First time it happened, my wife was very traumatized because you can't control it. Epileptic seizure, and those seizures are often, you know, you're making noises. She said I was foaming at the mouth. I lost control of my bladder. And when it's over, you don't know what's happened. And she was like so shook. She's like, do you know what happened? I was like, nah, what happened? And they only last for a few minutes, you know, 2 or 3 minutes at the most, but it can feel like the longest 2 or 3 minutes of your life if you're watching someone have it. That person doesn't know they have it, and afterwards, you know, for me, I have a good memory, so I can kind of remember when things began and stopped, unless it's happening in my sleep, and then I don't know. But I feel tired afterwards. I'm often sleepy. I feel confused. It's like I'm walking in quicksand. I kind of stumble a little bit. So there's difficulties that come with the chronic seizures. And don't get those confused with myoclonic and clonic, because when I first started talking about this, I was calling them myoclonic, and that's different than a tonic-clonic seizure. And so it's going to be important if you're going through this, as you're articulating to your neurologist what's happening, or if you feel like you're happening, you want to know, or at least have the person who's seen you go through it be able to talk this language. You know, the first time it happened, you know, it scared the hell out of me, of course. And then there was a period last year when the pandemic started, when I had a series of these myoclonic or these tonic-clonic seizures. And I'll talk about that. It's called status epilepticus. And that was the result of some meds and all this other. So I'll talk to you about that later. But anyway, did you know about epilepsy? Make sure you subscribe and share. If you know someone that's going through it, make sure you leave some comments. If you have any questions, we'll talk about it. I'll leave some information in the description. All right, y'all have a good one. I'll check back in with you in a minute.